is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, September 23rd. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Powell, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast about all aspects of home technology, home automation, and evidently today, rants. Just, you guys, I mean...
Technology sucks.
Yeah. Stacy on IoT, she hates Matter, evidently. You guys are telling me. Like, I haven't caught... I'm way behind on stuff right now. I'm listening to audiobooks a lot lately, and I'm like, the podcasts have kind of like in between, and I haven't caught up. But you guys are saying she just went off. Like, I'm gonna have to go listen to this after the show, after we record.
It's a great listen because, you know what, to be honest, Stacy has been vocal about her views on Matter this whole time. And she's never really been a fan of it, or, you know, didn't think it would promise. But this time is the first time I really heard her just really go off on it. And I think I kind of think she doesn't like it, you know. So like at the end of it, like I just think she doesn't like it. So it's a little, you know, I really appreciate the honest truth about it, because everyone else is sugarcoating it and making it seem like it's the savior. And she's like, no, it's not going to give you what you want. You're still going to have 20 apps on your phone because you need those apps to get to the advanced features of the devices. I totally understand. And it was a great listen. Just, you know, if you're one of those people that is waiting around for Matter and thinks it's going to solve everything for you, go give it a listen.
Yep, I think we were talking about this in our hub, and I was like, Matter is only solving one thing and one thing only, a sales problem. The reason they need this is because the onboarding was a difficult process, and people were confused about, oh, I bought this thing. Oh, it only works with the Alexa platform. Oh, this only works with HomeKit. And now they have with like, no, you get the thing with the little black Matter logo on it, and you're good to go. But then after that, like, it's still the same crappy little device. It's not, Matter has fundamentally not made it any better. And I have other few reasons to rant on about Matter. But TJ, what were you about to say?
Yeah, it's pretty funny that Stacy keeps getting invited to these like conferences to speak on Matter, and she's not even a big fan of it, right? You know, you think somebody would listen to our podcast and be like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't invite this person that's constantly hating on our product lineup. But, you know, it's kind of like everybody else has known. It's going to make devices a little easier to connect. You're going to be able to kind of cross-control devices. But just like Gavin said, you're not going to be able to do advanced stuff with it. You know, like it's kind of like, what is it? Like, I think like Crestron Home. I don't know if they've added support for it yet, but you could integrate a smart lock into Crestron Home 6 months ago, 8 months ago, or whatever it was. And you could control the lock, you could unlock it, all the good stuff, but you would still need to go to the actual door lock app in order to like add codes or remove codes and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's not what people want, right? Like if I have to go to multiple apps to solve my problem, it better be a very inexpensive device or just like super intuitive to use or something. But a lot of devices aren't that easy to use, and devices are not getting any better.
Yeah, I think the reporting on this is much to blame as well, because the tech press kind of took this Matter standard to be like, oh, this is going to unify everything. It's going to make everything better. And I don't know, being jaded and had heard that, you know, many times before, it's just like, okay, another one's coming. But this one seemed to have a lot of legs because of the players that were involved. But as it turns out, those players are doing what they want to do, and it's basically there so they can sell more product and make the setup process easier, which is a big hurdle. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't make the products any better. And I think Adam Justice was kind of throwing this red flag up. He's pretty political if you listen to him on the podcast there. But and this is the Smart Home Show with Adam and Richard. He was kind of mentioning like, hey, you know, one of the roadblocks that this may have in place for it is, you know, what if somebody comes out with a smart, I'm just going to try and pick something off my desk here.
Label maker?
Somebody comes out with a smart label maker, and there's no like defined term of what a smart label maker can do in the Matter, right? They have to go through this committee, go through this process, set up like, oh, well, you got to turn the label maker on. When somebody wants to press the P key, like what command does that send on to the label maker? If somebody wants to print or feed or cut, like those commands have to be defined in this protocol that we have to publish. It has to go through this working group. And, you know, maybe a year or two from now, you'll be able to sell your label maker through Matter. It's like, But if you're a smart label maker company and this is like what you've, invested your life savings into and everything, like, are you going to wait a year for some committee to meet and figure out like how your particular product should be controlled in this like generic ecosystem? No, you're going to release the thing and it's going to live on its own little island away from Matter and be a happy little device. And Matter is not even going to be part of the equation for you until the rest of the industry decides that, oh, we should probably include those templates for those label makers in our Matter protocol. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of bureaucracy. It seems like really the only reason they wanted to do it was so they could solve a sales problem that they were having. But again, it's still the same devices that aren't going to get any better. Like smart TVs.
Smart TVs.
You want me to start on the smart TVs? Is that why you just threw it out there? Like
I was just commenting.
Do you think smart TVs will get better when they get Matter, Gavin?
No, not so, like how many months ago when I got my LG C1, I was so happy to get my first smart TV, and I was, it looks great, everything. Now, a few months later, this thing's driving me nuts. The number of ads popping up randomly on the TV, like so many updates that it prompts me for. This smart TV is driving me nuts. And like me as the tech guy, I understand when a prompt comes up what I'm supposed to do, right? And how I'm supposed to get there. But what happens, these prompts are popping up and my wife's the one using the TV and she has no clue what to do. The Harmony remote, first of all, is programmed for the HTPC. So it doesn't even have the buttons if you understand how Harmony works, right? It can't control the TV at that point, and she doesn't know how to switch into it. If I had a companion remote, even worse, because then you wouldn't be able to get to those buttons, right? From the remote. So it just drives me nuts because I'm seeing, oh, you could watch this show or that show, or, we have this last week, it was, what was it? The EULA? They had an update to their EULA or something, and they made you scroll through the whole thing and check boxes and accept it. I don't want this. So I'm looking into how I can turn it into like a hotel mode TV where I could disable all this stuff. I don't want to unplug the TV because I really don't want to manage firmware updates to these TVs. I want it just to get its latest firmware updates. I don't want to have to check it every how many months. They do release fixes. I've had a couple since I actually bought the TV, but it's like if I unplug it, I can get away from all this stuff. But then if I keep it plugged in, I get all this stuff. These smart TVs just, like, why did they have to ruin it?
Since you're using a HTPC, like, what do you need the smart features on the TV for?
Well, so I was actually still using the built-in Netflix app and the built-in Prime app, right? And they look beautiful on that TV.
Like, they can do 4K and HDR.
Yeah, HDR, 4K and everything. But now that I'm trying to resort this all out, I'm probably just going to throw my Apple TV on another input at this point. That way I'll use the apps on that Apple TV and then just cut out the smart TV altogether. Like, it's gotten so bad with the smart TV stuff that I actually just want to not use it, and I'll buy another device. And I wonder how many people out there are thinking the same thing. Like, these ads just drive me nuts.
Yeah, they're pretty obnoxious. I mean, because especially the struggle that you described with like not having the proper remote on you to actually like accept the terms of service or do the update or whatever it is. It's very annoying because then I'll get, texted pictures from clients and stuff. And it's like, oh, well, this popped up. And it's like, why did you connect your TV to the internet? You shouldn't have done that. Because every single TV I install, I do not connect it to the internet. If the client wants to do that at the end, that's on them. But basically, it's for the same exact reasons that, you're experiencing right now, is that eventually everything is just full of ads. And you get all kinds of annoying pop-ups, and it's just very jarring to have that experience while you're watching something, and something just like showcases all over the screen and tells you need to update something.
One big feature I use on the TV actually is the AirPlay. There's so many times we're sitting there and we're just like, oh, you have to see this. We AirPlay our screen to the TV so we can all watch it, and it needs to be plugged in for that, So I'm thinking maybe I'll plug it into the network so that still works, but then cut it off from the internet through, Unify at the switch level or something like that.
hell about that?
You're about to
I am
ruin
about
my...
to ruin your day here.
Oh boy.
So I noticed that my two LG TVs were sending analytics data out through my little firewall application. They were sending every day, no matter if we watched TV or not. They would send a few megabytes of data up to the cloud somewhere to be processed. And I was like, I don't really like that. And through firewall, with a little click inside the app, you can just block them from ever reaching the internet. And I did that, and it was great. It was glorious. I just laughed and laughed, and the LG kept getting blocked, and I was like, haha, you suckers, you made a horrible product, and I made it better. Then I went to watch TV, and the TV was frozen. It wouldn't boot. So yeah, your mileage may vary there. I think the best smart TV is not plugged into the wall for internet, unfortunately. Like that's really the only way to really go. Because to get the TV back on, I basically had to unplug it, plug it back in, and unblock the the firewall rules that were allowing it to go out and do whatever it had to do, and it thought that it needed to do, because whatever the people who wrote the software that live on there weren't smart enough to say, well, if it can't reach the internet, can't reach our website, then we probably should like free up that memory or something. No, we'll just keep making it same call over and over again and fill up the entire memory buffer of the TV so it freezes up. That's a great user experience. And then after all this, the other day I turn it on and I have one of those apps, like a full side advertisement down the side of the TV, and telling me about something that I didn't really care about. And it went away, luckily, because I don't have the remote either. I don't really know how I'd get it to go away or accept a EULA. Because kind of in the same remote, we're using a kind of in the same boat, not using Harmony, but using a universal remote. And I think I might have those codes set up on that remote. But again, you have to switch and do some funky, you have to do backflips to get it to go away, right? So that's no fun. So yeah, same brand too, LG. Don't buy those TVs, guys. If you're listening to this show, don't buy an LG TV. If you do buy an LG TV, don't plug it into the internet. That's my advice.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
It was fine before when it was just spying on me, I guess.
It's any TV though. It doesn't matter what TV you buy now. They all do this. And it doesn't matter how much you spend on it. You can spend $10,000 on a TV and it's going to do this exact same thing.
Yeah, they're all subsidized pretty much by this advertisement and data mining and just watching what you watch and reporting that up to the mothership so it can be sold off to advertisement agencies so they know exactly what you're watching. It's pretty gross and disgusting. And yeah, that's great. And I have it on good authority that label makers kind of do the same thing.
Gosh,
they spy on you. And no, wait, that's not what TJ. I know you've been having
tag in TJ.
I don't have the Wi-Fi label maker, so it's not spying on me as far as I know. It is computer controllable though, so I guess it could spy on me. No, I last year I took part of a demo program from Rhino. They make label makers. I forget who actually makes them. Dymo, I think. It was like a $500 label maker. I got the demo and I demoed it for about 2 or 3 months. I gave my feedback on it. And part of my compensation for doing that was a $500 Amazon gift card that I could use to buy any other product on Amazon. They were hoping I would buy a label printer, obviously. So I ended up buying a really nice, $250 label maker and pocketing the other $250. Well, I haven't really been happy with the label maker the entire time I've had it. It's worked okay, but it doesn't really do anything, especially for it being so expensive. It's just basically an industrial basic label maker. It doesn't do QR codes, it doesn't do barcodes, all that kind of cool stuff. So Panduit has a trade-in program right now where you send in a label maker of, similar value, and they will send you one of their nice Panduit label makers. And I was like, all right, cool. I already hate mine. I'm not out anything minus shipping, so I might as well just send it in. It's not like I'm really going to be able to resell, the existing label maker for that much anyway. So it doesn't really matter to me. So I get the label maker, right? And it's an Epson rebrand that Panduit, had them design their own little thing. They changed the colors on it, and then they designed their own printer cartridges. The problem, though, is that I cannot find the stupid labels for it anywhere. Panduit has a list of distributors you can buy stuff from, but nobody shows them in stock, or the website doesn't even show that they exist. And the few people I've talked to that have used it have said that they have to order it from like Annixter, and then Annixter places an order with Panduit, and then eventually they'll get shipped out. So it's like not even an in-stock item. It's special order most of the time, all this good stuff. I decided to buy the labels for the Epson variant because I was like, well, they might work. It's just basically the same thing, different color. Panduit changed some kind of mechanism for the labels to where it doesn't actually hold the labels. And if you look at them with your naked eye, they look the exact same. The only difference that you can tell is that the Panduit ones are more square at the top, where the Epson ones are more rounded. But that doesn't seem to play too much into it. There's these little like hook things that kind of grab onto the sides. And I guess they might be a little bigger on the Panduit one, so they won't actually grab into the Epson one. And it's just so aggravating to have this really nice label maker that I can't use because I can't buy labels for it.
That's crazy. So you can't, there's just like no supplies that exist anywhere that you can find.
Not that I can find. And I've emailed the company today to like ask them where I should buy them at, because I've contacted like 6 to 12 companies, and so far nothing.
Wow. Should you just like return it and get a Epson?
I can't return it, right? So I can't just get my old printer back because I traded it in. So I'm basically just stuck with this like useless label maker that like nobody can use.
Oh man, that is rough. It's like that's just like what you would run into with a printer, except even worse. Because
it's like so awful.
At least with a printer, you could like buy a third party like toner or ink cartridge or whatever.
Refill it or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they refill printer cartridges anymore, but still, like, yeah, like can't even find anything. And so and it's a really cool label maker because you can do QR codes, you can do serial or barcodes. You can do like patch panel prints, and you can set it up with your computer so you can set up different printing items and stuff like that. So that way you don't have to type it all out. So it's a really nice label maker. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to like donate it to Goodwill or something because I can't even use it.
I'm on Epson's website and they have all of the same looking, like you said, you're right. It's like rebranded, but the prices on here are all $0. It has me wondering if it's like, is this a real product? They're all free.
And I thought about just buying the Epson version because I was like, well, I mean, the Epson version obviously works because it's the same thing, and I'll be able to buy labels for it. So,
did you check the Canadian website? Maybe we have stock up here we can send down.
I did not. It's a good idea
because shipping from here to there is pretty. It's pretty cheap.
I was thinking maybe you could like 3D print a new case that would fit the labels and then.
Well, and ironically enough, I actually took the label cartridge apart. So I don't even have the demo labels that it came with anymore because I broke it. Because I was like, well, what the heck's the design difference? I got to figure it out. So now it's literally useless because I don't have anything.
Amazing.
But I like the option though. It sounds like a good printer, but. And if anybody's part of the Slack channel, I've been posting pictures of it next to various things. One time was on my laptop. Another time was next to my tool bag. I just want to show how obnoxiously big it is. Like it's got like a handle where like if somebody were to break into my house, I could swing this and like take somebody out with it. It's so obnoxious.
It is rather large.
So
largish looking. Yeah. Well, I hope you get some labels one day, DJ. You're able to use it.
If I don't get an answer this week, then it's going to Goodwill. Somebody else's problem for $20.
We don't need a label maker for the museum. I already have one. So.
This is not museum worthy. There is nothing exciting going on here.
But you gotta think the price per button on that label maker is really, really low.
It is actually. There's like a jillion buttons on it.
But it's not a smart device.
Not a smart device, yeah.
Well, yeah, it connects to the computer, but it's not really smart. They make a Wi-Fi version, but probably not going to give that one a shot.
Yeah, that one's the one that spies on you for sure.
Well,
oh yeah.
Just dream about all the labels you could be printing out and all,
All right, guys, what do you say we jump into some HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All All right, so this isn't going to annoy anybody. Amazon wants Alexa owners to buy more things. Imagine that. Amazon announced a new product at Amazon's Accelerate conference. New feature called Customers Ask Alexa, which lets brands submit answers to common questions like, how can I remove pet hair from my carpet? And how can I eliminate odor from soil stains? Previously, Alexa supplied generic tips from the web and other sources in responses to such queries, but customers ask, Alexa turns answers into product spots. There you go, advertisements for your Amazon Alexa questions. We all knew it was coming. Here it is, guys. What do you think?
I was ranting. This is the rant show, like I just realized because I think I was ranting about this week too. You know what? We don't really use our Alexa to ask those type of generic questions. I just pull out my phone and Google it, right? But if it ever got to the point where I would ask her to turn off the light and I would get something other than just a little bling, that I like, I would so be done with it. Like I'd want to get out of there and I'd want to try and, I'd want to investigate something else, but the problem is what else is out there at this level? Like I would even drop a little bit more money on a better system at that point, just to get away from these annoying ads. Hopefully they don't make it too annoying, but I hate it when these products, they come into your house and they're working great or, somewhat great. And then they start to ruin it by adding smart stuff and ads. And I really hate that because that's not what you bought it for in the first place.
Smart devices just keep getting worse. Who wants this, right?
Brands want this.
I strongly dislike when my Google Assistant speaker tells me that I can do additional things with it. For the past 6 months now, every time we say turn off the lights or what's the weather, it always says, by the way, you can ask me what the weather is for tomorrow, or you can set up a timer to turn your lights on
Google
and
does
off.
it too?
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so aggravating because it's every single time. It's once a day maybe that would be all right, or once a week. But I don't need something like every command, right?
Little Siri sitting over there just can't even answer a question, right? It's just
that's true. At least they work.
There's no chance that thing's getting an advertisement. Can you imagine? Why does everything have to go to advertisement? Is that eventually it's like this drain that everything's circling, and eventually you just well, I'm at the bottom here, I've got to go to advertisements, and you float down at the advertisement sewer. I just why does the entire world think that it needs to center itself on advertisements that simply they don't work? They just frustrate us. No one here wants to know what light bulb you need when you ask the voice assistant to turn on and off your light. Nobody wants that. Whoever thinks this is a good idea is not using they're not using the product, but they're not thinking out that what their product's actually used for. And if it means that an Amazon Echo device needs to not be $30 and maybe need to be I don't know, $100, make it $100 and just sell it without ads, just like they did with Kindle, right?
Well, and that would be the issue, I think, at this point, right? Is that, when Amazon released this thing, it was basically, a freemium model. You basically paid a little bit for it, or you paid nothing for it. They gave it away with certain items and stuff. So everybody has this perceived value that they're not worth anything now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they would be able to, maybe that's their plan, is to sell a ad-free smart speaker eventually. But I think they've kind of put themselves in a corner now where people are expecting this product for free or significantly cheap. And if they don't get it, they're just not going to use it at that point. There's a lot of people I run into that's well, $100 for a speaker. I'm not paying $100 for a speaker. I can buy a Google one for $30.
Yeah. I all that subsidizing up front here has definitely hurt their long time. Well, I don't know that it's hurt them. There's still a lot of people clearly using them, and that will continue to jump through whatever hoops that Amazon puts in front of them so they can keep using their talking box thing. But I just don't get it. I don't understand why this is the goal of these companies, is to oh, well, we just want you to buy more junk that we sell on our website that you already go to anyway. So we'll give you irrelevant ads at the most frustrating time. Like, let's just do that. That's probably going to make you want to buy this stuff, right? And no one ever like looks at them and says no. That it will, for whatever reason, all these CEOs and whatever, they just don't ever hear no. Like, no, that's not what people want. They don't want to hear your stupid. They don't even want to hear your stupid suggestions, much less the ads from a brand from like Coca-Cola. Oh, it sounds like you're thirsty when you ask that last question. Would you like a nice, refreshing Coca-Cola? No, I don't want that. I never wanted that. And well, maybe I do. I could actually use something.
That's because all technology is just built on ads, unfortunately.
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't like it. But we let it. Like, that's where like everybody thinks they need to go for monetization, and it seems like the advertisers rule the whole world when it comes to like funding for technology. It's like, well, why? Why do they need to be part of this? They don't need to be any part of it. I don't need a brand interfering with my voice assistant. But that's where we've come to. That's where we're letting everything go.
Well, this probably isn't going to be a brand. It's just going to be Amazon. What's wrong with that?
No, I mean, it's specifically it's an API for brands. It's for like Coca-Cola and Tide Pods and stuff. Like, that's what we're going to hear about.
Like, I don't mind ads, but the ads, when ads start to impede on the, functionality of your product. So when you're watching TV, I don't mind if the ad comes up at the side or something like that. That's one thing. But when the ad comes up at the side and starts playing on audio on top of what you are watching, that's when it's starting to impede. When the ad comes up on the screen, you have to actually click a button to acknowledge it. No, don't do that. And in this case, if the ad's like in its response, no, we don't want that. And I think people will push back eventually if it gets really annoying like that. In this case, they're slipping with the Alexa. They're going to be slipping the ads in, right? So you're asking her to, how do I clean a carpet? And they'll be like, if you get this product, it will help you clean that carpet. And okay, it's not as, annoying at that point, but it's still, it lines you up for a future where it will be.
It's like the voice response when you're searching for something, and like the first thing that comes up is sponsored or something, Amazon sponsored, and it gives you ad. Hey, Gavin, your voice sounded a little raspy there. I think you could probably do with a nice, refreshing Coca-Cola.
Thanks. I'm just getting so worked up today.
Exactly. Nothing but rants for the first part of this. All right. Yep. Are we over our rants? Are we gonna
never?
Never.
Is technology always gonna make us mad?
Exactly. Well, yeah, let's move on to leaks and new products. So
leaks are fun.
Yeah, leaks are always fun. We've been seeing rumors and talking on the show about that Google's been working on a Wi-Fi 6 router, and now we finally get a leak, thanks and courtesy to B&H Photo, who actually published the webpage with all the specs and pricing and everything. The device went. I know we covered it a couple months ago when the device hit the FCC, and we saw like some model numbers or something come off of it that were similar to what Nest had used in the past. But now it's here, and it's been listed on B&H as the, quote, Google Nest Wi-Fi Pro 6E router. So it's probably going to be the Nest Wi-Fi Pro 6E or something. That'll probably be the real name of it. But in terms of pricing, Wi-Fi Pro is going to cost $199 for a single router. 2-pack is going to be $299. 3-pack is $399. That's pretty easy. Color options. They have a number of color options. Google always does this. I'm kind of impressed that they actually figure out how to make more than one color device for people. It comes in a couple here: snow, which is white; linen, which is like a light brown; fog, which is light blue; and lemongrass, which is kind of that light yellow green color. So you can pick them up in those color options and those price points with whatever size pack you need for whatever coverage you have. But it sounds like, I think I saw that they were going to be probably, well, I guess it's going to be coming out any minute now. So like as soon as the Google event happens here at the beginning of October, we'll probably see these hit the shelves.
You'll see them everywhere, I'm sure. Pretty popular in a lot of people's houses. I'm not a big fan of them myself. I think we've talked about them a couple of times here, but they're always probably one of the more cheaper Wi-Fi systems out there that you find. Between like TP-Link, Deco, and I think that's pretty much it. There's a couple other cheap ones, but aren't as big a brand. So I see these going becoming pretty popular.
Yeah, that price point's gonna be attractive to a lot of people. And they even said like they may have network extenders or the Google Assistant speaker built into some of them. So that's good too. Just keep in mind there's no ads today, but Tomorrow there may be ads.
That's always the threat looming on. It's ads for the smart home. I got to say, these things look like a giant marshmallow. They're kind of adorable looking. Like it has a little glowing light underneath it.
Probably not tasty.
Probably not, but you could put a little smiley face on there, a little Stay Puft hat on the side.
It'd be perfect if your kids have like a crayon. They draw all over it, right?
It's definitely right for it's definitely fingerprint ready. I can tell you that.
Is somebody making like little accessory hats and stuff for these devices yet? You know, you can buy like a little gnome hat. Maybe you can buy like a little magician hat. Witch's hat for Halloween.
A $1 billion idea right here, and I think we just need to buy some.
Just need to buy another domain.
Lightly placed. Yeah, we'll buy the domain exactly, but we'll buy some lightly placed Amazon ads and it'll appear on the Echo thing.
I'm gonna sell tinfoil hats for these.
We noticed you just bought an Eero. Actually, that would probably be a profitable business model. I heard that I think in the UK people were buying like little 5G cell scramblers or whatever, but they weren't actually working. So you could make a lot of money off that kind of stuff.
Am I buying a domain right now? I don't know.
All the domains. We got too many.
When Seth goes quiet and starts typing, a domain gets bought. You know,
routerhats.com is available.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a profitable Etsy business. I think you should just let somebody else have it. If anybody's listening, you're looking for a side hustle for the holidays, you can just have that idea. You're welcome.
Little scarves, little knitted hats to go on top. And then like Gavin said, you could do some tinfoil hats for him.
Absolutely.
It's bound to improve or reduce reception.
Are you tired of your Wi-Fi spying on you?
Tinfoil hats. I've got a really good cover art for the show that's going to be on our webpage, so check that out. All right. Let's move on here. We've got another new product coming from Sonos this last week. We've been waiting forever for a cheaper home theater subwoofer, and it's now available. So after many design leaks, many months and speculation, a delayed launch, Sonos is officially announcing and introducing the Sub Mini. Sonos says the Sub Mini is designed to be used in small to medium-sized rooms, and the regular Sub is still best for bigger spaces. The Mini comes in at like 14 pounds, which is about it's about less than half of the 36.5 pound Sub, the normal Sub that they sell, and it's 12 inches tall, and it's a cylinder design, so it looks like a little, I don't know, end table trash can. I'm not too sure. And it has a diameter of about 9.1 inches. But that's not what we care about. What we care about is like what the price point is, because that's what we've been betting on for months. And since our note server crashed, I had to go back and listen to the show beforehand. And here we go. Gavin said it would come in at $600, and then he said Canadian. Oh, so that's where he got us. I said $500. Now you would think that my $500 Freedom dollars would be less than Gavin's. No, Gavin, we did the price check on it. It's $452. So Gavin's actually below me, $452. And then TJ down at the bottom, $449.
Bam.
TJ is actually the closest, but he went over the price of the Showcase Showdown. So I guess we're all losers.
I don't win a Sub Mini. Dang it.
You don't win the Sub Mini. I'm sorry.
So, we checked this conversion before the show, and I was at 452 and 78. I just checked, or 88. I just checked again, and it's 452.78. So it depends on time of day. I'm that close, or it depends on what day I check. I could beat TJ. So
what it closed on Thursday last week when the Sub was announced. That's what matters.
Oh, well, it will show me next week. Yeah, I can look back. I'll get back to you on that.
And what do we determine? This thing only has one button?
One button, just the pairing button, which is pretty normal for subwoofer from Sonos.
This is one of the more expensive $429 per button.
And it looks like a good size still. Like, I mean, it's it's mini, but I don't know. I was thinking smaller.
Yeah, I was saying in the chat when they did finally release it, it's like, oh, I don't really like the cylinder. Like, you can't really hide that away as easy. And I kind of got some pushback from a couple of people in there, but like, the way we have ours is the Sub, it's just laying on its side. Like they give you these little pads for it, and you just lay it on its side. And I shoved it underneath the couch, and there's plenty of room under the couch for it to go. The particular couch we have is like an IKEA sofa. There's plenty of room under there. And if it wasn't going to go there, it was going to go on the side or like behind the couch or even on the side of the couch. This seems like, I wouldn't be able to do any of that with this. Like you can stand it up and let it trip over it, I guess, the way I have it here in this picture. But I there's not really as easy. It's not as easy to hide something like that away, and even in a smaller room than it is the bigger Subs. I was hoping for a different form factor, but I'll take it. $429 is not bad.
Yeah, I'm not regretting. I just bought a Sub 3, I think like 2 or 3 months ago for about $650 after like my discount and everything, and I am not regretting the purchase now. So I was kind of hoping it would be a little smaller, but I don't know. I don't think it's that much different between that and the regular Sub. So you might as well just get the regular Sub.
And the regular Sub's 40 pounds, so
it can vary actually. There was a Reddit thread on the Sonos subreddit the other day about Sub weights. There's a lot of people posting their weights, and it was completely different.
That's interesting. I wonder if they have like
see if I find it.
Fake Sonos Subs that exist out there. Like people are going to IKEA and stealing and
it could be.
Yeah, reprogramming the little chipboards in there with that app to say, oh no, this is a Sub. Yeah, interesting. Well, I don't mind it, but it's bigger and unwieldier than I would like, and I think I would probably stick with the regular Sub. But you reminded me on the discount thing, I do have one of those like trade-in discount things that I opened a random account for and kind of set off to the side. So if I get back to that, then I should be able to purchase a regular Sub. I don't need a regular Sub. That's the whole problem. I don't need another one. So
yeah, and I think if I was doing the pricing, because I have a similar coupon for 15% off right now from one of the smart speaker devices, but I think it came out to like $365 or $380 after the discount and shipping and tax and stuff. So not a bad deal if you already have one of those discount codes, and especially if you have one of the older Sonos devices and you get 30% off, that should make it around $300, I think. So even better deal for you.
Well, Sonos isn't done. Evidently, they still have some more products coming. So the Verge seems to have a good leaker at Sonos or wherever that they are getting some stuff. So there's the Optimo 2 that's coming, and it could be a little desktop size speaker that you can set on your desk or something. So
yeah, there's been rumors about like a 360 speaker. They purchased that one company that does that kind of stuff. The very small speakers or whatever. So there's been some rumors going around about that and how you could possibly do like an actual Atmos setup and having proper satellite speakers and stuff too. So we'll see if that actually happens. The leaks are always a little more ambiguous than I think they are.
Yeah. I remember there were some like different size speakers that you could, like some tall speakers that had upward firing. Oh no, it was a sound bar, and it had you could rotate it and it would do the upward firing Atmos thing for the surround. So yeah, there's been a couple of rumors on these products that have kind of like gone by us over the past year or so, and this is the only one that's really materialized. So hopefully we'll see some new stuff from Sonos. They've been kind of in the same format of the same couple of products for a long time now. And I say that, I know they've added like the little wireless products, but as far as like the home sound and home theater stuff goes, they've been kind of doing the same thing for a while now. So I hope we see some new stuff from them, because it's a cool company, and we all like new gear. So people convince me to buy a new Sonos surround thing for the garage out here one of these days. So.
I think Patrick Spence is the Verge's leak. He needs to sell more products and make up for that shipping snafu a couple months ago.
In that low stock price, right? Yeah.
So low.
All right, guys, let's move on here. See all the topics, things we discussed tonight can be found in our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/405. All right, we got a pick of the week, and the pick of the week is the adorable little kitty cat that lives on the Happy Island. Yay!
It's great.
Tamagotchi cat.
I don't even need a new phone, and I kind of want it because of this.
Yeah, this was amazing. So, what's his name? Christian Stieg, I think is what his name is.
Selig.
He's the developer of Apollo, which is a Reddit client. And everybody has been kind of like talking about this dynamic island thing that is. I think it's going to be named the island because who cares about dynamic? It is dynamic, but that's marketing. But we can just call it an island, I guess. And the other one's a peninsula. We called it a notch. We just keep calling it a notch. But like this guy is super creative, and he has this decent Reddit client that I have used for years now. And I just pay him money every now and then just to send some money into him for stuff like this. Like he just adds on the most amazing, thoughtful, and creative features onto his app that you just don't get with like the large corporate apps. Like I used, what was it? Alien Blue, I guess, was the previous Reddit app. They were purchased by Reddit, like the whole team was. And now Alien Blue is the Reddit app. And it's got all these like missing features and everything that Apollo has. So if you're using Reddit,
worse.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Yeah, it did get worse. But this app's great. What he did was he put like a little, I guess people are calling it a Tamagotchi that lives right up on top of the dynamic island in those couple of like, I don't know, 20 or 30 pixels that are there. And it just walks around. It could be a little kitty cat. I think you can get like a dog and some other things. I know there was a setting for it as soon as it came up, but I haven't figured out how to get back to that setting to change it. But I like the cat, so I'm just going to let it live up there and sleep and kind of do its thing. It's adorable.
I just love all the ideas people are coming out with this dynamic island, you know, like they're kind of poking fun at it at the same time, but they're having fun with it. Like the whole Pong game against it, I thought was brilliant. Yeah. You know, I almost wanted to buy an iPhone 14 just because I feel left out now. I don't have an island on mine. I have like just a bump on mine, you know. I wish they kind of did that with the iPhone 12s, as they know they could have it expand out from there and do these various things too. But it was a great idea. It's cute. There's so much he could do with that, you know. Imagine having another animal come in and then they fight to the death, you know.
Did you mention that
cuddle.
you can have did you mention that you can have multiple animals, like different animals?
I know you can have different ones, but I don't know how to change it. Like I saw it when it first came up, but I don't know where the setting is. There's like a lot of settings.
You can have a cat, a dog, a hedgehog, a fox, or an axolotl.
Oh, I just saw it.
What else would you want?
Pixel Pals is what he's calling it. A cat, a dog, hedgehog. Yeah. Oh, the hedgehog's adorable.
That's pretty adorable.
Oh,
are you gonna go order an iPhone 14 now just for this?
I mean, if I guarantee you that he sold, Apple needs to send him a check, a commission check.
Definitely.
People saw this and they were like, "All right, this wasn't compelling, but now I have to have that in this random app that I've never heard of." I know that's what happened. But at the end of the day, Apollo is actually a really good app. Like it's really, really good. For all the features you get off of, I don't know, it's like a very inexpensive, like $2-3 app. Anyway, oh, that little kitty cat's so cute.
You know, I just bought the app because of your recommendations. So I haven't been using Apollo at all.
It's a good app. Yeah. He's even got like a takeover thing that that you can install that will, when you click on a link and it takes you to the Reddit mobile website, it automatically will direct you over to Apollo and to that thread rather than having to deal with the Reddit, the awful in 2022, the awful Reddit like mobile website that I can't believe still exists to this day. Like, why?
Their whole website's a disaster. And like, I would say half the month it doesn't even work because the servers are always crashing. Must be ran on potatoes or something.
I don't know. Well, I don't have a problem with his app, but yeah, the Reddit website I very, very rarely go to anymore because the app is so much fun to use. So I think I'm switching to a hedgehog. Yay. Did it. All right, guys. Let's move on here. If you have any feedback, comments, questions, ideas for a show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@hometech.fm, or you can go to hometech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, that wraps up a week here on HomeTech. Gavin, it sounds like you really missed out. You said your wife had finished off the ILM Light and Magic documentary, and you didn't even get to watch any of it.
No, she just saw it and she clicked on the first episode, and 6 episodes later, she's finished it and I haven't even started it. All she said to me was, this was actually better than I thought. And we lived through it. So, you can associate and, you remember a lot of these things, right? So she says it was great. And every episode like made you want to watch the next one, and I'm kind of mad that she watched it without me, because now I got to find like alone TV time to watch it. Like it's like I already have to find alone TV time for like Game of Thrones or like Lord of the Rings, but now I got another show I gotta find alone TV time for, and I don't have much alone TV time, so yeah, I'm a little upset at her. I don't know what to. I'm just, from now on, I'm not gonna give her a new show until I'm ready to watch it. She's going to like time out.
Funny, just to regulate what she can see that's new. Exactly. It's a good show. I can't now. The unfortunate part is like I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of them, and we haven't had the together enough TV time where we're actually watching that to catch up on it, because Cobra Kai came out, and of course we've got to watch that dumb show. It's horrible. Don't stop that. I'm so like I'm at the point of Walking Dead with it, like, because it's not. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like a disaster. I have to keep watching. Anyway, it sounds like you've been busy though. You've been moonlighting on us.
Cheating.
I'm sorry. Gotta pay the bills somehow. So this week I was invited to be a guest on Home Gadget Geeks with Jim Collison. It used to be a crew, but it's just him now. They've been doing, they're in episode 500 and something. I've been on it a few times over the years. They used to be called HomeTech, the HomeTech show. So it was kind of interesting, but we just talked about a whole bunch of random things like tech I deal with in the home, from smart home to Unraid to, the cameras, Blue Iris, etc., etc. So it was a good talk. Once again, that's Home Gadget Geeks. Go check it out. Sign up, subscribe to their podcasts.
Yeah. And speaking of podcasts that are great, and not this one, like you don't have to listen to us, but Owen, one of our friends of the show, Owen Maddock, was on a podcast not too long ago. And I will have to put into the show notes. I have it saved in mine. I don't even remember the name of it now, though. But the reviews in the hub were great. Everybody was able to listen to that. So I forget. Owen's a big cinema guy, and I'm sure that the discussion was revolving around that. So we'll have to put those in the show notes.
It was a really good show. I'm trying to find the name of it right now. It is the Integrated
Home.
There you go.
Yep.
They had him on there, and then some guys that do smart gardens. And I was really excited about the smart garden stuff. So they, if you want to find out how they spent $500,000 on a garden, go give it a listen.
Yeah, that actually sounds fun. But I'll put both of those links in the show notes as part of our after the pick of the weeks week. I don't link. I guess it's more fun. So I'll put those links to those shows in there so you guys can check them out. But yeah, I'll have to. I'm very behind on podcasts. I need to catch up. So I'll have to go listen to both of these now. DJ, besides cursing at label makers, you been up to anything?
Oh, I haven't been up to a lot. I went to the Pawpaw Festival this weekend, though.
Is that where you like pick up a Southern grandfather or something?
It could be.
That?
It could be. So I guess I just found out about it probably about 4 or 5 years ago. But it's like a tropical fruit-ish that kind of grows in weird parts of the United States, right? So they grow in Ohio, North Carolina, Missouri, and I'm sure other places as well. But once a year they have a festival down in Athens, Ohio. And that's what we spent Saturday doing. So you can go there and buy pawpaws. You can have pawpaw ice cream, cotton candy, beer, all kinds of stuff. And I would say overall it's kind of like a banana in a way. It tastes good, but I don't think it's anything like remarkable. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. But yeah, that's what I did this weekend. So maybe we'll post a picture of what it is.
I've been on. There's actually a guy in a giant suit, a pawpaw suit, that I guess is going to have to make the show notes somehow. But
there you go.
They also have a podcast too. So if you're really interested in learning about pawpaws, there you can go listen to their podcast. I'm sure it's entertaining.
It looks like we have a Pawpaw festival up here too, so don't feel so bad. I don't know if I'll be going to it, but
Yeah,
You got one.
I guess, and that's kind of the thing is like they can't really like be commercially grown, so you're not gonna find like a giant farm of them or something. But I'm sure eventually, or maybe somebody's already figured out how to like kind of cultivate them and grow them as they want to. But they pretty much grow in like forests by themselves. So good luck.
Interesting. Well,
You're welcome for that little bit of knowledge there.
I learned something today.
they do not look anything like bananas. I'm just
No, absolutely
That's
not.
the first thing I was thinking.
The
too.
taste. Look at the
It looks
inside
like
of
a-
it.
Oh, the taste. They look like a
Yeah,
pear
it
or
looks like
something.
a
that.
pear-sized bean.
Yeah,
What it
it's
looks
super
like.
strange. And it's got these like giant beans on the inside of it too. Seeds,
Interesting.
I guess, not beans.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I asked, honestly. All right.
I gotta try one now.
I know.
I'm gonna source. I want to source one of these. It says with a flavor reminiscent of a banana and a mango
Yeah.
together. That sounds actually
Yeah.
really good.
It's very faint. It's not like a strong taste, but it's there.
All right, let me see where I can buy some of these. Amazon.
Amazon probably not. They last I think they only last like a couple days, so you got to hurry up and eat them. But it's funny. I brought one for lunch today to my client's house, and I was showing him and telling him about it. And I think that when I said, "Oh, we can like split it if you want," he thought it was for him, so he ended up taking it, the whole thing, for himself.
Just put it on his invoice.
I did.
Okay.
It was like $10 for a pound of them. They're expensive.
All right.
They're two fruits in
2 for
one.
It's a good deal.
That's true.
Do we have a spreadsheet for that? All right, guys. Well, that wraps up everything here. We do want to give a big thank you for everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support this show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 gets you a big shout out here on the show. But every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you can talk about pawpaws. I don't know. Is that a beer? Wow. Okay, there you go. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That wraps up another week of news here on HomeTech. From everyone here, have a great weekend.
Don't buy a label maker.
Take care.
Do we have native pawpaws? I've never even heard of these.
Yeah. They're in totally random places. Isn't that like, and I grew up in Ohio too, and I've never heard of this thing that grows in Ohio, and I just find that so weird. Like if you went to Florida and there was like pineapples growing in random places, you would know about that, right? You'd be like, "Oh, I found a pineapple in my backyard."
Honestly, I live here in Florida, and like literally everything grows in my backyard. At one point in time, I have to mow over it, but I've not seen one of these in my I don't know, forever here, and probably 20 years here now, and I have not seen this. So I'm just kind of looking at it going, is this one of those Mandela effect things where like this is the glitch in the matrix, and now we're finding about pawpaws, which at once I thought was a grandfather, but now it's a fruit.
I found like a whole article on the history and why the pawpaw is central to
It's all made up though. The glitch in the matrix, it's not real.
It's like the last question in the universe, or the first question in the universe.
It says why the pawpaw is central to indigenous culture and where to buy it in Toronto. So I guess there's some.
How is it indigenous to Toronto?
Do you want to
and
read
Florida
the article?
and Ohio? I don't know how this works. Like, this is like a pine tree. It's literally a pine tree that grows anywhere.
TJ, look what you started now.
You're welcome.
Like seriously,
It's the largest fruit-bearing tree species in North America. Why does no one talk about it?
Right?
I know. Are these the fruits that, because it only lasts 3 days, so it drops on the ground before you even realize it's edible?
Well, I think that's probably the problem too, right? Is that they have to be eaten right away, and you can't like commercially grow them. So that's just like super rare. But I posted a picture of what the tree looks like too, and it's like you would notice that.
I know that's the problem.
Like what's this fat bow tie or fat tie tree?
And what is this fruit dangling off of it that looks like a potato-sized bean? Like it I just don't I don't get it.
And every time they describe it, they're like naming other fruits. Like now it's a distant cousin of the custard apple, and think sour sop and cherimoya. I'm like, what the hell? Like they've named like so many different fruits. It tastes like everything else.
Native to 26 states. How is this hidden? I don't understand this. Oh my gosh, this is a huge tree.
Right?
We don't even know we have it in our backyard. That's what it's come down to.
I've never seen one of these trees in my life.
After that, you have a few days before it goes brown. Blah, blah, blah.
All right. So it looks like it's more native to Ohio and like northern. I mean, they have them here in Florida, but I'm guessing they're not the same. But
I think there's different varieties too. Like there's sunflower and
yeah,
whatever else.
like ours is a shrub looking thing, not this giant tree that clearly would stand out. I mean, it's got...
So that's going to go in his backyard tomorrow and be like, oh, shit, that's what that tree is.
Son of a bitch, there's one right there.
I've always wondered what that is.
Yeah. It's growing fruit.
So, some states used to call it the hillbilly's banana or the poor man's banana.
That's probably why nobody's heard of it. They're like, oh, hillbillies, nobody cares.
This is crazy. I really think this is like, I don't know. I'm being set up here for a joke.
No, they're real. They're real. What was this article? 11. This article's from 11 months ago too, and they're talking about Pawpaws.
11 whole months ago, huh? Oof. Did they launch? Did they start the Halon Collider thing? The LHC? Did they? I think they were doing that again a few months ago. That's when all this went sour. When they turned that on, we thought the universe was going to end. It didn't really end. It just like messed things up, and like suddenly we have Pawpaws. Suddenly the Fruit of the Loom thing doesn't have a cornucopia.
Oh.
One person replied with, "What an amazing article! I knew nothing about Pawpaw. Now I do." That's exactly how I feel right now. I've never heard of this thing. And
It's a custard-like flavor, similar to a banana, mango, or pineapple. 3 fruits that taste nothing alike.
So what if I just blend those 3 fruits into one smoothie?
This sound like when TJ was talking about it, I'm like, this sounds like the perfect smoothie fruit. Like this was what, like, oh, just throw a pawpaw in there, and I'll take that.
Yeah.
I don't need a mango or banana or a pineapple.
Forget that.
Yeah, they're all in one. I can just buy one pawpaw and just take the seeds out though.
You think you need a lot of it to make stuff.
Make ice cream and bake desserts.